So here, why this occur, back EMF? So here, so when the armature of a DC motor rotates under the influence of driving torque, so here you know that motor principle is, see here. So principle of the motor is, when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, the conductor experiences a mechanical force, and the direction of the force is given by Fleming's left hand rule, and the magnitude is given by F equal to BIL. Now here, when the conductor rotates, so when the coil rotates, so the conductors will cut the magnetic flux, and as per Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, so EMF will be induced in the conductors, and here the direction of this induced EMF is opposite to the cause, that is, this cause is the supply voltage. So here the cause is the applied voltage V. So that's why it is called as back EMF or counter EMF. So here EMF is induced in the conductor when the conductor cuts the magnetic field like a generator. Okay. So here that induced EMF is opposite to the cause as per Lenz's law. The cause is the applied voltage V. So hence EB opposes the applied voltage and is known as back EMF or counter EMF. Now here this it is represented with EB. EB means back EMF. B stands for back, E stands for induced EMF. So here this back EMF will be always less than the applied voltage, and the back EMF is given by 5ZNP by 60A, just like a generator. Here EB is also equal to 5Z and P by 60A, where 5 is the flux per pole, Z is the total number of armature conductors, N is the speed in RPM, P is the number of poles. So P is the number of poles, A is the number of parallel paths. Now here, let us take here, the applied voltage V has to force current through the armature against the back EMF EB. So here, the applied voltage V has to force current through the armature against the back EMF EB. Now here, the electric work done in overcoming and causing the current to flow against EB is converted into mechanical energy developed in the armature. Now let us see this in detail. Now here, it follows therefore that energy conversion in a DC motor is only possible due to production of back EMF EB. And here, and you can see the equivalent circuit. So EB and series with RA, and to this we are going to apply the voltage V. So here the voltage here, the equivalent circuit of armature is shown in the figure. The armature circuit is equivalent to a source of EMF EB. So here source of EMF EB in series with a resistance RA. So EB in series with a resistance RA put across the DC supply means of V volts. Next. Now here from this diagram you can see here V must be large enough to balance both the voltage drop in armature resistance and the back EMF at all times. And here that is V equal to EB plus IARA. So this equation is called as voltage equation of DC motor. And from this you can write IA equal to V minus EB by RA. Okay. And here one more thing you can note down. Suppose if the motor is at rest, we are going to apply the voltage. Then what about the EB? If the motor is at rest and we are going to apply the voltage, at that instant, what about EB? EB will be 0 and IA will be very large. So here we are going to use starters for a DC motor. We are going to use starter for a DC motor. Starter will insert a high resistance in series with the armature. When when the motor starts rotating, the resistance is reduced. Okay, and once the back EMF is there, so that back EMF will limit the current IA. If back EMF is 0, IA will be very high. Let us take V equal to 220 volts, RA equal to 0.5, so 440 amperes, which is very high. So here, that's why we are going to use starter for starting a DC motor. Okay, so once the motor picks up the speed, so there will be a production of EB, and IA will be limited. Now here, so here you can see here, the applied voltage V must be large enough to balance both the voltage drop in the armature resistance and back EMF at all times. And from this diagram, you can see here V equal to EB plus IARA. So when a current flows, there will be, you can see here, there will be voltage drop. So here you can see here, when a current flows, so there will be voltage drop, plus to minus, indicates voltage drop. So V equal to IARA plus EB, or EB plus IARA. V equal to EB plus IARA. So IA you can write like this. Now here, since V and RA are usually fixed, V is the applied voltage, it will be constant. RA is the armature resistance, it is fixed. Okay, the value of EB will determine the current drawn by the motor. Okay, now here one more thing, if N decreases due to increase in load, so here if you have a motor and to the motor shaft, if you apply some load, so then speed
Sir, few students want to join, sir. Please allow them. Sir, few students want to join, sir. Allow them.
Yes, what happened?
Few students want to join the class, sir.
Okay, okay. Now here, coming to losses. So losses. So coming to losses in a DC motor. So there are copper losses. So as you have winding, armature conductors are made up of copper, and you are going to have field winding. The winding is made up of copper. So here, when current flows through a copper wire, some losses takes place. That is I square R losses. Those are called as copper losses. Iron losses. So iron losses, it will take in the stator and rotor. So rotor is made up of iron laminations. So here you are going to have iron losses in the rotor and stator.
Sir, presentation is not
And
visible.
and one more thing here, mechanical losses. So what are mechanical losses? Friction and windage losses. So there will be friction. So shaft will be rotating. So shaft will be rotating on the bearings. So there will be friction. So this problem, if you see the syllabus, in your syllabus, it is given principle of operation, types of, see here, you see the syllabus.
Sir, screen is not visible. Sir.
Now, are you able to see the screen? Yeah, respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So here, if you see the syllabus, in the syllabus, principle of operation of DC motor is there. Okay. Types of DC generators, sorry, DC motors. Principle of operation of DC motor, types of DC motors, and applications. So coming to principle of operation, so here you have to write whenever a current carrying conductor, when a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, it experiences torque, and the direction of the torque is given by Fleming's left hand rule. So based on the marks, you can write the answer. Okay. So next, types of DC motors. So this will be similar to that of a DC generators and applications. So to know the applications, you have to know about the characteristics of DC motors. So let us see here. So let us see a problem for a better understanding. So here a 250 volts shunt motor, 250 volts shunt motor takes a total current of 20 amperes. So 250 volts shunt motor means, so the voltage applied to the shunt motor is 250 volts. See here, V equal to 250 volts. So here V equal to 250 volts. Okay. Next, takes a total current of 20 amperes. So here IL equal to 20. So it takes a total current of 20 amperes. The shunt field and armature resistances are 200 ohms and 0.3 ohms. So shunt field, this is a shunt field RSH, here RSH, the value is 200 ohms. And what about RA? RA equal to 0.3 ohm. So next, determine the value of back EMF. The value of back EMF. Gross mechanical power in the armature in horsepower. HP means horsepower. Now here, so let us find out this one. So you know that V equal to EB plus IRA. From that you can find out EB. So here, first you have to note IA. So you have IL. You have to know IA. So what is IA? IA is equal to IL plus ISH. So here this IA is equal to IL plus, see here, sorry. So IL gets divided into IA and ISH. Here you must be careful with generator and motor. In motor, so here IL is equal to, see here, incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing currents. So IA plus ISH. So IL is divided into IA and ISH. So here from this you can find out, see here, first to find out ISH. So what is how to find ISH? Voltage divided by resistance. So 250 is the applied voltage and 200 is the resistance. So 1.25 amperes you are going to get ISH. Next IA. So from this you can write IA is equal to IL minus ISH. Okay. From this you can write on IA is equal to IL minus ISH. So here you are going to get IA. Next, you know that back EMF EB equal to V minus IARA. So what is the V? 250 minus IARA. So you are going to get the back EMF. So you first bit is completed. Next, gross mechanical power in the armature. So here mechanical power developed. This is very important formula. EB into IA is a mechanical power developed. So here, if you see this power equation, see here, this is very important. So here V into IA is the electric power supplied to armature. Okay, V into IA is the electric power supplied to armature. IA square RA is the, here, IA square RA is the loss, copper loss. So here electric power dissipated in armature, that is armature copper loss. IA square RA is the armature copper loss. So what about the remaining energy? EB into IA is the mechanical power developed by armature. So EB into mechanical power developed. So here gross mechanical power in armature, in the armature in HP. So EB into IA is a mechanical power developed. From this, you are, if you subtract the friction losses, you are going to get the mechanical power output. So here it is asked gross mechanical power developed in armature. So you have to take EB into IA. So you substitute the values, you are going to get one. Now 1 horsepower equal to 746 watts. 1 horsepower equal to, so you got the answer in watts here, but you have to get the answer in horsepower. So you know that 1 horsepower equal to 746 watts. So divide this by 746, you are going to get the power in horsepower, 6.14 HP, 6.14 horsepower. Now here, so armature torque in a DC motor. So actually this derivation will be there for triple students. So for you, this is enough. So interested students can go through this derivation. So here torque is proportional to phi into Ia. Or let me explain this one, very simple one. So here you know that torque is the turning or twisting moment of force. So here, just wait. Okay, So here armature torque of a DC motor. So I am going to get the torque equation. So for that, first you have to know what is the torque. Torque is the turning or twisting moment of force. So here let us take a, so here rotational motion. So here this is the axis. So force is applied here. So when a force is applied here, it is indicated with F, and the radius is represented with R. So here torque is the turning or twisting moment of force about an axis. Okay, about an axis. So here at the center we have the axis. So if you consider a DC motor, so center we have the axis, and we are going to apply the force at this point. Here y means here conductor experiences the force. So the conductor will be on the rotor. The conductor will be on the rotor. That means armature in the armature slots you have the armature conductors. So the armature conductors experience a force when you pass current through the armature. Now here the mechanical power developed by the armature is given by torque into omega. So how you got this torque into omega means work done per revolution is equal to force into distance. What is the distance? 2 pi r. Work into 2 pi r. So work done per revolution is F into 2 pi r. F into distance or F into 2 pi r. So work done per second is equal to F into 2 pi r into number of revolutions per second. That's why I represented with small n. Okay. So from this you take F into r, 2 pi n. So 2 pi n can be written as omega. 2 pi n is the omega. Omega is the angular velocity. N is the number of revolutions per second. So 2 pi is the angle. Okay. So here F into r is the force into radius is torque. You know that force into perpendicular distance is the torque. So force into radius is the torque. So TA here this is becomes omega. So torque into omega. So here omega can be written as 2 pi n or 2 pi capital N by 60. In both ways we can write. So omega can be written as 2 pi capital N by 60 or simply 2 pi into small n. So like this. So right side top you can see 2 pi small n. 2 pi n is equal to omega. Or you can take here you can take 2 pi capital N by 60. Now here this is the torque into omega is the mechanical power developed by armature. But we know that mechanical power developed by the armature is EB into IA. So here this is in terms of mechanical parameters, this is in terms of electrical parameters. Okay. Now here equate these two. TA into 2 pi n by 60 is equal to EB pi z np by 60A into IA. So here from this get the equation for torque. Torque is equal to, you are going to get this one. Now here this can be written as, torque can be written as 0.159 phi z IA into P by A. So for a given machine, suppose if a machine is ready for that machine, you cannot change the poles, you cannot change the winding. So P and A will be constant. You cannot change the number of armature conductors. So here the only parameter varying parameters are flux and IA. So finally torque is proportional to flux and the IA. What is flux? Magnetic flux, field, magnetic field. So phi is the flux per pole, IA is the current flowing through the armature conductor, or simply armature current. IA is the armature current. So all the armature conductors are connected in series and parallel so as to increase the voltage and current. So IA is the total armature current. Phi is the flux per pole. So here torque is proportional to flux into IA. This is very important equation. So you can write down in the running notes, torque is proportional to flux into IA. So based on this, you are going to have different characteristics. You can determine the characteristics of a DC motor. So if you know the characteristics, you can apply that motor for a particular application. So hence, torque in a DC motor is directly proportional to the flux per pole and armature current. Flux phi is the flux per pole, Ia is the armature current. Now here, let us find similarly, let us find the speed of a DC motor. So you know that EB equal to 5ZNP by 60A. From that, you can write N equal to, rearrange these parameters, you are going to get N equal to like this. Now here, A is a constant, Z is a constant, P is a constant for a given machine. So here, this can be written as K into EB by 5. So N is proportional to EB by 5. So here, this is another very important equation. So write down these two. Torque is proportional to flux into Ia. Torque is proportional to phi into Ia. So please write in your running notes or any notes, write these two. So if you have this two, you can determine the characteristics of any motor. So torque is proportional to phi into Ia, and N is proportional to EB by phi. So here you can see speed is directly proportional to EB and inversely proportional to flux. Speed is inversely proportional to flux. Have you written this two? Shall I proceed? Please respond. These two are very important. To understand further topics, you have to know these two equations. So torque is proportional to phi into Ia, and speed is equal to K into EB by phi, which can be written as speed is proportional to EB by phi. Are you able to hear my voice? Okay. Now let us next DC motor characteristics. So here, just like a DC generator, we have to know about the DC motor characteristics. If you know the characteristics, then only you can apply that motor for a particular application. You can select a motor for a particular application if you know its characteristics. So here, the characteristics are also called as performance characteristics. Okay, the performance of a DC motor can be judged from its characteristics curve. Characteristics curves known as motor characteristics. There are three important characteristics. So here also you have three important characteristics. So what about the first one? Torque and armature current characteristics. So torque versus Ia.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir.
Torque versus Ia.
Namaste, sir.
So torque versus Ia. So y-axis you are going to take the torque, x-axis you are going to take the armature. So just wait a minute. So write down this one, torque versus Ia. So here, so it is a curve between armature torque TA and armature current Ia of a DC motor. It is also known as electrical characteristics of the motor. So next we have the speed and armature current characteristics. Speed, y-axis speed, x-axis armature current. So here if you see these two, x-axis is armature current in the first one, and in the second one also x-axis is the armature current, and y-axis is the speed and armature current characteristics. So it is a curve between the speed and armature current Ia. Okay, next third one, speed and torque characteristics. Speed and torque. So speed and torque characteristics, speed and torque. So first one is torque versus Ia, second one is speed versus Ia, third one is speed and torque characteristics. Total parameters are torque, Ia, torque, speed, Ia. So first you are going to take these two, next you are going to take these two, okay, third you are going to take these two. So here, so first one is torque versus Ia, second one is speed versus Ia, third one is torque versus speed or speed versus torque. So here, speed versus torque is also called as mechanical characteristics. No need to remember these words, just know about the characteristics. So first let us find the characteristics of a shunt motor. Okay, shunt motor. So let us take a shunt motor. So V is the applied voltage. So IL is the line current. Okay, so IL is split into IA and ISH. Okay, no, supply voltage will be constant. As V is constant, ISH is constant. Okay, this will be constant. Supply voltage will be always constant. We are going to maintain supply voltage as constant. So ISH will be constant. If ISH is constant, what about the flux? Flux is constant. So finally here, flux is constant. So we have torque is proportional to flux into Ia. And the torque is, as phi is constant, torque is proportional to Ia. Okay, as phi is constant, torque is proportional to Ia. So let us draw the characteristics. First characteristics, torque versus Ia. So torque versus Ia is a line passing through origin and it is a straight line. Now here, if you, this is the torque developed in the armature, but at the shaft, total torque will not be available. Some torque is lost due to friction between the shaft and the bearings. Okay, so we are going to have some less torque, that is TSH. TSH is the shaft torque. So here the total torque TA developed in the armature is the motor is not available at the shaft as a part of it, lost in overcoming the frictional losses. Okay, this is about torque versus Ia. So next, speed versus Ia. So we know that speed is proportional to EB by phi. As I told you that speed is proportional to EB by phi. Okay. Here phi is constant, so speed is proportional to EB. What is EB? V minus IRA. Now here, you can see here, if Ia increases, what happens to the speed? Speed decreases. Speed decreases. So here, if you compare Ia RA, RA is very small. So here this drop is almost negligible. Speed is proportional to V. Okay, this IARA value will be very small compared to V. The speed is proportional to V, and here speed can be, as V is constant, speed can be regarded as constant. So here, if you draw the actual characteristics, so here you are going to have Ia versus speed. So speed versus Ia. So here for a I0 is the no load current. I0 is the no load current, and here this is the no load speed. No load speed is, this is the no load speed. Okay, y-axis is speed. So here this is the no load speed. If you apply the load, the speed decreases slightly. So here I have not taken all the points. Here I have taken a break. I am taking a break point. Okay, I have taken a break point. So here we have a lot of values in between. So to show the curve clearly, I have drawn like this. So here there will be more values. So finally, the change in the speed is negligible. Change in the speed is negligible, and here when the motor is loaded from no load to full load, so the change in speed is negligible. So here this shunt motor is treated as constant speed motor. See here, so the motor speed of the motor decreases slightly with the load. Okay, the speed remain constant. So here you can tell DC shunt motor is a constant speed motor. DC shunt motor is a constant speed motor, and it is used where constant speed is required. The applications where constant speed is required, there we use DC shunt motor. So next, speed versus torque characteristics. So speed versus torque characteristics. So here, as torque increases, so here if you apply more load, so torque increases. So the motor, if you apply more mechanical load, so if the shaft is to rotate heavy load, okay, it has to require more torque. So as more torque can be obtained by more current. If torque increases, current increases, right? Torque is proportional to flux into Ia. You know that torque is proportional to flux into Ia, as flux is constant. So if you want more torque, if torque increases, Ia increases. Okay, so the motor will be taking more current from the supply. As Ia increases, what happens to EB? You know that EB equal to V minus IRA. EB equal to V minus IRA. If Ia increases, EB decreases. So EB decreases. So if EB decreases, what happens? Speed reduces. So as torque increases, speed reduces. But this reduce in the speed is little. Why it is little means, already I told you that Ia into Ra is negligible. Okay, Ia into Ra is negligible, and so here as torque increases, Ia increases. As Ia increases, EB decreases, but the decrease in EB is very less. Okay, as EB reduces, speed reduces. Suppose here this is neglected, so EB will be constant, N will be constant. So here it is shown with dotted lines. Okay, so if you consider the values of IARA, so here the speed slightly reduces. Actually, the reduce in the speed is very less. So here I have taken a breakpoints. Okay, breakpoints. So there are more values. In order to show the curve clearly, I have taken only few values. That too from at this point I have taken more values. So here I have removed all the values between this in order to show the curve clearly. So actually, if you draw these characteristics on a graph by taking the equal scale, linear scale, so you are going to get like this very. So if this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, so here you are going to get some. Okay, this is the dotted line, and here very slight, very less. So like this curve you are going to get. So for the sake of simplicity, for explaining, so I have drawn this like this. So here the speed will be almost constant even if the torque requirement is increased. So conclusions. So here there is a slight change in the speed of a shunt motor from no load to full load. Slight change. Hence it is essentially a constant speed motor. So shunt motor is a constant speed motor. Next, starting torque is not enough, is not high. The starting torque is not high because torque is proportional to Ia. So Ia is less at no load. Ia will be less at no load. At no load condition, the torque will be very less. So here, the shunt motor is used where The shunt motor is used where constant speed is required and the torque requirement is not high. So next, coming to the characteristics of series motor. So before going to series motor, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So series motor, I'm going to start in the next class. So here, remember these two formulas. So what are the two formulas? So first one is this one. Torque is proportional to flux into Ia, and the second one is N is proportional to EB by phi. If you know these two, you can determine the characteristics of any motor. You can determine the characteristics of any motor. You can determine the characteristics of shunt motor. You can determine the characteristics of series motor. Okay. So you can type your questions in the chat box also. So meanwhile, I'm going to take the attendance.